Friday, we did take a week off. Okay. Pat was up north at his cabin and enjoying things. So we took a week off, but we're going to get right down to business. Today, we're going to talk about two different approaches to the future of electric cars. And one is right around the corner, like it's going to be released in short order. And the other one is a startup company that's maybe a year away from launching their product. And what I'm going to do is kind of hand this over to Brother Pat, and he's going to talk a little bit about Telo, and he's going to talk about the new Ram electric and semi-electric, I'll say that, or hybrid
A Ram
pickup trucks.
Charger.
Ram Charger. Thank you very much, Pat.
You
So,
got to have a
uh,
great name.
yeah, so Pat started me on this Tello thing, and boy, it's a fascinating car. So let's start with a new startup, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit about that, and I'll launch this for you.
Okay, well, one of the big themes that we have for this podcast is that we really do not tell you how to EV. We
Mm.
know that each and every one of you has a unique circumstance of what vehicle is best for you, and that can really arrange from what the charging network is where you live, to the size of your garage, to what
Mm.
your wife will let you buy. There are all kinds of factors that could really lead into your EV or automotive purchase. And in this case, we're going to give you really two different options that we think you're really going to enjoy. The first is Telo, and Telo is a brand new startup, and they're based out of California. And what they're coming up with is a pickup truck like you have never seen before.
Mm.
This truck is actually the size of a Mini Cooper in length. It's about 152 inches. And with that, it comes standard with a 5 foot bed, 60 inches long, which should sound familiar because that's really about what a Tacoma has. And we know the Tacoma is one of the best selling vehicles in the world, but not everybody wants a conventional pickup truck. And what the Tello does that the Tacoma can't is that they have borrowed the old Avalanche or Silverado EV now. They've opened up a drop gate that separates the passenger compartment from the tailgate. And when you drop that particular tailgate section in there, it gives you a length of 8 feet. So, I mean, that's huge. No Tacoma is going to be able to do that. And then again, because it's small, it's really designed for an urban setting. And I think the guys at Tello are really kind of unique. They're many of them have worked for other EV startups in the past, and I think they've got a really good product online here that they're trying to go with. Um,
Yeah,
First of
and
all,
it.
you can go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Bob.
Pat. Yeah,
Uh,
it's a cool little vehicle. That's what I like. It looks great, and I can see people who are either in a city, uh, bopping around because it's a mini size, right? You can park the thing, and I could see people on the beach, putting their surfboards in the back and heading out. A lot of new EVs, Pat, aren't really very pretty. They're kind of
well,
ugly.
and the current trucks that you buy are outside of the Hyundai little pickup truck that they make. Most of them are just huge, and yet unlike the Hyundai, again, this can have a 5 to 8 foot storage area in the back, and it's even cool because they're kind of doing the trick again where you can actually have seats in the back area if you want to even have more than 5 people. They are arguing you can put some seats in there that are external that go in the bed of the truck, a la Subaru Brat, that you can seat up to 8 people. And so it's really a special little vehicle. Right now, what they're saying is that they're available in single or dual motor, which is really cool. And largely, what they're saying is that that all-wheel drive version is going to have 500 horsepower available on it. It would be able to tow. This is what I really like: little vehicle, 6,600 pound tow capacity. And they say in the bed they're planning on right now 1,600 pounds of, you're being able to load into the back of that, which is really incredible. And again, what they're looking at as a 350-mile range with their larger battery option, which is about 4,000. But for about $50,000, which when I'm shopping Tacomas right now, some of the better spec Tacomas are well over that. You get 350 miles of range, you get that tow capacity, and you get a cool factor that I think is really impressive. So, yes,
Yeah.
indeed, we have invested the $152 to put down for one of these, so that at least it's refundable. So we may not buy that, and who knows if it'll pass the your wife will let you buy it phase. But you know we put the down payment just to keep getting the updates on this because we're really pretty excited. They
Yeah.
seem to have a good amount of money into this venture, and they seem to have a unique product that I think is really designed for the urban driver. I think someone living in a city who wants the convenience of a truck, but yet wants to be able to park it anywhere. I think this is a great option. I try
Yeah.
to think of people that this would work for. I mean, I know I've got a friend who's really into band instruments who just bought his first EV, and he's in multiple bands. And I mean, with this Telo truck, this gentleman could put all kinds of instruments, go to different kind of ventures, and yet his standard size garage, it would fit in there really nicely with his Ionic 5. I mean, there are just all
Right.
kinds of people I think this would work for.
And the thing I love about this design is that it's designed as electric from the ground up. And more importantly, it's practical. A lot of, I mean, I have a Ford F-150 pickup and I love that thing. It's a classic big old beast. But hey, coming to work today, coming to the office today, I think I averaged 1.5 kilowatt because it's 6,500 pounds because these guys are designing an EV. They said, how can we make this small, easy to park, and efficient? And that's where that 350 miles of range comes in. Because really, folks, when it comes to the world of electric, I got to say, it seems like it's a really good idea to have a small vehicle that can do more because by nature, there's less wind resistance. It's just going to be more efficient. And that's what I love about EVs because the whole concept of EV is driving. How can we design this car better to work as an EV, to be efficient, to look cool, which is important. I don't like to drive cars that aren't cool looking. This thing is cool looking. And so I think that's a hit. And on the other hand, this car, this truck will not meet everyone's needs who really are pickup people who use them on a daily basis and need to go long distance. Ergo, we switch
And
over to the Ram.
and again, if you are the traditional truck guy who looks at most EV pickups, one of the big concerns that you have if you're actually using it as a truck is what is the range on this? And again, there is no one way to do this. Some people would go for the GM product now that solved that problem by putting in over 200 kilowatt battery into GM's electric products. And so they've got a really nice range of over 400 miles. But Stellantis, Ram, the old Chrysler has really come up with another unique solution that we think you're going to want to look at, especially if you tow a lot. What
Yeah.
what Stellantis has done is they are building a truck, should be released this year, that basically has a 92 kilowatt hour battery in it. And so with that, you're going to get about 130 miles of electric range. But to help supplement that, they're really going back to the old BMW i3 solution, which is to put a gas motor in it as well that recharges the battery to give you a longer range. And it's really kind of a perfect solution for those of you that need to tow long range and are looking for the full size pickup truck.
That's going to work for like because Pat and I, let's face it, We took a road trip from Colorado down to Lockhart, Texas, because I had this great idea that I was going to buy a 800-pound, 90-gallon offset smoker and haul it back on a U-Haul trailer. And that whole thing probably weighed less than 2,000 pounds. But what did that do to our range, Pat?
It really cut it down. I mean, literally, we were charging. Correct me if I'm wrong, but memory says it wasn't uncommon for us to drive 130 to 150 miles, and we would be recharging. And again, we could have gone further, but Bob and I really don't like to push it. We like to pull in with a decent amount of juice in the
Yeah.
battery and not worry about running out. But hey, it worked. And if you want to see that adventure, see the link below.
Yep. And we had a lot of fun, but the whole trip, we talked about the fact that, hey, if someone really had a big trailer that weighed 8,000 pounds and caused a lot of wind resistance, maybe this isn't practical. I saw a guy proudly advertising on the F-150 website the fact that he's going to be towing things from Oregon down to Florida, and he's going to save a lot of money on gas. And I'm thinking, maybe in that F-150, that's really not a practical business solution. But on the other hand, in today's world, where we don't have solid state batteries yet, where even a pickup truck with 400 miles of range, like the Silverado, which is a beautiful beast, by the way, that's a gorgeous pickup. That guy's going to get 200 miles if he's towing anything at all. And, maybe the RAM is a better solution until we put in solid state batteries. And once again, RAM didn't come out with a pickup right away. They weren't trying to be first to the market like Ford or Rivian. They sat back and watched what happened. And now it's like, you know what? We're building this sucker for people who really tow, who need to go 500 miles or 400 miles between charges or filling up with gasoline. And trust me, Pat and I are not against hybrids. I mean, I love electrics. I think they're simpler. They only have one system, which is electrical and a big battery, a couple of motors. But I'm into real solutions for people. And if someone goes out and buys that Ram, and they're going to have a generator built into that thing that basically puts out 120 kilowatts to charge the car as you're driving, which is a cool concept, right? It's got a built-in generator. It doesn't use a gas engine to drive the car. It just drives a generator, which really improves the range. If that's what you're going to do, but you're got a 5-state area that you are driving that pickup hey, this is a good solution. And trust me, it's going to get way better fuel economy than your big Ram 2500 that you're putting diesel into. Or whatever kind of gasoline you put in that thing, that gas hog, it's going to do so much better. And in the end, it's going to be better for the environment. I really believe that. I'm thinking this is a good go-between solution until we move further on the EV front. And once again, that's that creativity coming out from engineers making this thing work and really trying to drop what we're using on fossil fuels.
Well, and really that's their solution is really unique in a lot of ways because again, when I heard that the Ram Charger was going to have a generating motor in it, I really kind of thought about the i3 that has a little basically a motorcycle engine in it that it's what it is. It's and a tiny gas tank. What Stellantis is doing here is they're taking the 3.6 liter Pentastar motor. And I remember being shocked when I saw the pictures from the LA Auto Show of this thing where it was this huge engine in here and it's supposed to be electric, but it's really the perfect motor for this because it generates a lot of torque and power at low RPMs and it produces 130 kilowatts when it's generating power for this vehicle. And again, you can take this vehicle and do all your local driving and never have to tap into the Pentastar, never have to use that power. But when you're going to, and so really, for many people, they probably say 80% of my driving is going to be pure electric because I only drive 20, 25 miles a day or less. But
Yeah.
yet, when I'm going to take that long road trip, when I want to pull their estimated hauling target level for towing capacity is 14,000 pounds. That's incredible. You
That's a
know,
big girl.
when you wanna really tap into that 663 horsepower front and back, I mean, you don't have to worry that you're going to be stranded on the side of the road running out of gasoline. I personally think this is brilliant. And I know there are a lot of people who don't like hybrid solutions, but the hybrid in this case, I think makes sense largely because, there are certain countries in Europe that it's, for example, Norway. I mean, there isn't a huge country geographically. Most European countries, you don't need tremendous range because the network is way better, and the tendency is, you're not going to be driving as far as if you're going to be on a US long distance road trip. So for the United States in particular, I think this is a great solution to move people from their diesels to electric. I think this is a really good option, and I'm excited about it.
Hey, brother Pat, do they have an all electric option they're doing as well? For let's say somebody has a they need a truck, but they don't need to do cross country hauls. Are they making an electric version of this, or are they going to just ignore that completely?
Nope, they're going to come out with a version that's all electric. They're
Good.
going to have that available, but it's interesting, I think, that the Ram Charger, the one with the Pentastar built in, is actually going to be their first one because I think there's a huge market niche out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and I think for big pickup trucks, I think Ford and Chevy have stepped in. If you really, and GM, if you really want to step into it, you've got those options available. But look sometimes at the websites that are for Silverado EV and Hummer or any of the big electrics out there, you'll see people still concerned about I tow a lot, I own a business, I need to haul a trailer. Frankly, I've got a friend who fixes things up all the time, and he's constantly hauling a big trailer around with his tools and equipment in, and he's waiting for this solution. So I
That's
think
awesome.
again, we're not telling you how to EV, we're not telling you what you should buy, but we're saying these are important options, and we both like it because we're, may not be as fast as people want, but we're sliding you into the world of electrically powered vehicles, and we think it's exciting.
Yeah, and to conclude today, and thanks for the information, Pat. Um, uh, uh, EV, the future's exciting. And speaking of the future and what's going on in the world of EVs, we do have a YouTube channel, Electric Principle 543. We spend a lot of time on there talking about EVs, and we review some EVs, and really a lot of it's spent on how to operate, daily operate those. So please take a look at our channel. Please subscribe if you get an opportunity to do so, because that just helps the channel grow. These podcasts are going to be available both as a YouTube video, but they're also going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcast and several others as soon as I figure out the tech, because I'm learning why I'm earning here. And I really appreciate you joining the channel today and listening to what's happening in EVs. And I want to especially thank Brother Pat. And so we're gonna conclude this today by a grateful thank you. And just remember, uh, don't use one pedal driving like my brother.
And use one pedal driving and drive faster, unlike my brother.
Oh, I know, I know. I drive like an old man sometimes. But anyway, thanks again. We'll see you next Friday on the Electric Principles podcast. Have a good week.
Take care.
All right, what did you think?
I think it's a good one. I think we
I
did
I
fine,
think
right?
I think that's a one take. We don't need to redo that at all. I think that was pretty cool. I really do. And that was about 20 minutes, but who cares? You know, it was going well, so I didn't cut it off. I just kept it rolling. And uh, 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 that's okay. So it all went well here. And so the next one we're going to do is going to be on what did we say do this? We're going to talk about current EV sales. We're going to talk about the future coming down with 24s. We're going to talk about how things went at the end of the year. I'm going to talk a few facts about that. That Colorado, 25% of the cars we sold in Colorado were EVs this year. And we're going to talk about some of the new exciting changes that are going to take place. We'll talk a little bit about, hey, the buzz is out, and we'll give some impressions of that. This is going to be more meandering, but we're going to talk a little bit more about Hyundai and your Hyundai experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think you're better off focusing on to start this video, Bob. Talk about how, and you can take a picture of the lot to put in an interviews. They're like, hey, where have all the Ionic fives gone? You know,
Yeah, yep,
and we can talk about that. Let's start with that, right? And
yeah,
then you can
yep,
talk about how many Ionics have your dealership has sold, and then the transition to the new one coming in, right?
yep,
And
yep,
why the Ionic's such a good car. And I could talk about my experiences,
yeah.
and how we're both excited for this new one coming out. We're
Sounds
not
good.
probably going to mention about the new factory and all that right now
No, no,
because
no, no, no. We're done with
no,
that.
that's we're done with that.
Hey, I got to go use the restroom. I'm going to close
Yeah,
this
let's take
recording.
5 minutes. We'll see you in
Yep.
5 minutes. Send me an invite.